What's happening, fifth graders? Welcome to lesson 311. And today we're going to try and answer the question, or you will be able to answer the question, how can I use the associative, commutative, and distributive properties to help make math easier? Remember at the beginning of the year, and as kind of we've talked about all the time, that it's about working smarter, not necessarily harder. That our brains and that we are lazy, and we look for patterns and we look for finding ways to make things as simple as we can. Well, ladies and gentlemen, math is no different. We want to make things easier. We want to make things more simple. So we want to find and look for those patterns and connections right away. So we'll get to that in just a second. We're probably with video number 2. But first, let's do a review. One of the things that, as we've been working with subtraction, especially, that I continue to see is, so if I have 4,000 and I'm going to subtract 124 and 6/10. Now, if I'm going to subtract this problem here, one of the things that I've noticed that we are still having problems is when I take this problem written in a horizontal manner and I turn it into a vertical problem, 4,000. Okay, one of the things that I keep watching people do is that we start writing right directly underneath. Well, instead, boys and girls, we have to start writing with our decimal, because our decimal is what's going to line us up. Now, this number, the top number, doesn't have a decimal, but we should know that the decimal is going to be after the ones place, because that's the end of the whole numbers. Once we get to this land, they're decimals, they're not whole. So the decimal point is going to go after the ones. So now what we're going to do right away is we're going to line up our decimal point right there, and now we're going to line up our numbers accordingly. We had 6 right here, and then we had 4 in the 1 spot, 2 in the 10 spot, and 1 in the 100 spot. And now we are ready to subtract. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the biggest error that I am seeing, and it's a setup error, and it's something that we really, as mathematicians, as students going forward, that we really need to fix, because if we don't do this, we're never going to find the correct responses. All right? One of the things I really want you to focus on, when you line up your problem, is your decimal point, does it line up straight up and down? Because right now, what I can do right now, I can put my decimal point right here because it is right in line. Once everything is lined up, now I'm ready to subtract. Now I'm going to fill this with the 0. Okay? Now, 0 minus 6. I can't do that because right now we're not dealing with anything in the negative realm. At some point in time, we might. Well, we definitely will. But we don't have to worry about that now. So we have to make sure the top number, okay, the top number must be larger, greater than the bottom number. So at this point it's not, so we have to go to our neighbor, borrow some sugar. No one home, no one home, no one home, because you can't borrow from 0, can you? Okay, so we have to go to the 4, cross that off. 4 becomes 3. And then we take that 1 and we add it to the 0 to make 10. Now we are able to borrow to this neighbor here. Actually, technically it would be lend if we were to talk it in terms of our rules of grammar. So we cross off the 10, this becomes a 9, and this becomes 10. Now, if you notice, it's just like a wave effect. It goes here, then here, then here, till finally here. So let's continue borrowing. 10 goes to 9, this becomes 10. Finally 10 goes to 9, and this becomes 10. Now, once we are in this spot, for the most part, we are ready to subtract. Okay? 10 less 6 is going to be 4. Now, we've already brought down our decimal, so we're okay there. Oh, that's a horrible 4. Let's just erase that. Let's see if I can just erase the whole. There we go. 10 less 6 is 4. Now, 9 is greater than 4, so we can do that subtraction. 9 less 4 is 5. 9 is greater than 2. 9 less 2 is 7. 9 is greater than 1. 9 less 1 is 8. And then 3, nothing. So our correct answers should be 3,875 and 4/10. Now this one, I'm going to give you the problem. I'm going to have you stop the video right away as soon as you have the problem. I want you to try and set it up correctly, and then I want you to solve it. Once you have a solution, then you can restart the video and you'll be ready. So this one is going to be 1,142 and 400ths, and we're going to subtract 26 and 52 thousandths. Okay, so why don't you pause the video, set up the problem, solve it, and when you have a response, restart the video. Hopefully, 5th graders, you set up the problem and solved it, and you set it up so it looks like this. We've got our 1142.04, and again, we're going to start with our decimal point here. We've got 26 to the left of it, and then we have a 0, 5, 2 to the right of it, and we are going to subtract. Now, once again, ladies and gentlemen, what's the important aspect of this? Look at where my decimal points are. So we can carry our decimal point right here, right now. Now we're ready to subtract. I can't take 0. Okay, 2 is greater than 0, so I can't do that, so I'm going to borrow. 4 becomes 3. Now this becomes 10. 10 less 2 is 8. 3 less 5. 5 is greater, so I can't do that right now. Go to my neighbor, no one's home. So 2 is going to become 1. I'm going to take that extra 1 and put it here. Now I can borrow. This is going to become 9, and this becomes 13. 13 less 5 is 8. 9 less 0 I can do is 9. 1 less 6 I cannot do because 6 is greater than 1. So I go to my neighbor. 4 becomes 3. 1 becomes 11. Now 11 less 6 is 5. 3 less 2 is 1. 1 less 0 is 1. 1 less 0 is 1. So our response is 1,115 and 988 thousandths. Now hopefully you got that correct. If you did not, where did you make your error? Did you line things up correctly? Did you borrow incorrectly? Did we just make what we call a bonehead mistake and just do the problem and do one of our facts wrong? If it was something that you really need help on, please see Mr. Winkleman so he can help you. It's so important that we are able to figure this out. All right? Get ready for video 2.